going to call the meeting to order. Anybody want to make changes to the agenda? Everybody okay with it as written? Okay. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Privilege of the floor. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting? Anyone have any changes they want to make to them, or are they okay as is?
How do you spell Salesian?
S-A-L-E-S-I-A-N.
So the
Spell them.
director's report, yeah.
Oh, no, this is the agenda.
Oh,
We're doing
on,
this.
Under director's report, Salesian is spelled
under-
incorrectly.
Oh,
I see.
okay.
It's salacious. Salation probably is all. Otherwise, it's fine.
Oh, the kids sneak out there.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept it as amended?
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. Second.
Aye.
Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Thank you, motion passes. Good evening, Ryan.
Door was locked.
Oh. Okay, treasurer's report. Jack?
How you doing, Bill?
Hi, good evening, everybody. We have the reports here, accounting reports through May, so there's 1 month left in the fiscal year. We moved $200,000 from the Orange County Trust money market account to the Key Checking. So as of this report, we have $353. So we're on track to probably end the year with about $253 or so. So we should really end the year with an almost identical amount to what we started the year, because for the whole year, we're going to be almost exactly on budget, give or take a few thousand.
I'm sorry, how much did you move again? I'm sorry.
200,000. Just the reason we move so much is, well, one, the rate in the Orange County Trust isn't really
Nice.
setting the world on fire anyhow, but no rates are. But also because we have to get a second signer to be able to move more.
Right. and
Funds.
That's going to have to wait until after the election and approval from the bank.
Right.
So we just moved it so that we'd have enough to cover payroll and not have to
Mhm.
worry.
And that should be enough to hold us for a while. But on the profit and loss budget versus actual, the salaries are almost 3,000 over budget year to date. But I did the payroll for this week, the first one in June, and it was actually a couple hundred under budget. So year to date, if you add that one in, we're really about 2,700 under budget. So for the year, we shouldn't be more than maybe 3,000 over budget. And we did a little research into, reasons why it might be a little bit over, but we'll be within 3,000 out of the $631,000 budget. So as we've been saying all along, we're going to be pretty much right on for the whole year in salaries. In the last month or so, I think we paid Baker & Taylor, one of our biggest books vendor, at least a couple of times. I think the last check was almost $5,000, if I remember. But there's still a substantial number of them up there. So for the total library materials, we're 14,000 under budget for the year. I would say when everything is entered, we'll probably be, maybe a couple thousand under on that line. Figure there's probably about $10,000 worth of books, invoices that haven't been processed and paid yet. So I'm figuring around 10. The other lines are more or less up to date. There's professional fees. Rob Schultz's May invoice, I just processed it now, but it wasn't entered in time for this report because I ran this report last week. So there's still some May stuff that hasn't been entered, but the grand total on the bottom line that we're $24,875 under budget, which is the $1,080,000 actual versus $1,105,000. When all the books and everything else is entered, we'll probably maybe 8 to 10,000 under budget. So for the full year, the bottom line is going to be more or less right on. If we didn't get that break with the flood insurance, we would have been maybe exactly right on. So for the year, we're trending like right on target. And as I say, we'll end the year with about 250-something thousand in cash, maybe a little more, depending on how much we spend in June. The first June payroll was a little under budget. And we made the June 1st loan payment, and the loan balance is now $248,916.77. So below $250,000 from $600,000. So, and the sheet shows that it's now the rate was lowered, so they did what they said they were going to do. The payment's been lower every month too. So
248, 917.
right. So that's about it. Holding steady.
So, I'm sorry, Val, can I have a question? or-
Yep, go right ahead, I was just about to,
Okay.
say that.
So we're gonna be under 10,000, you said, under or over?
For the whole year,
Ending
probably
June
slightly,
30th?
slightly under. It's hard to project because there's a lot of
Okay.
stuff up there to still be processed, but the 24,000 that we're under now, it's not gonna be that much.
Okay.
It'll probably be closer to 10,000 when all the books.
Do we need to spend that money before June 30th, or no, we can just keep it in a,
Right, because it'll be a while
Move
after.
it. For the
You're
next-
not gonna get another
Right.
income check until November 1st.
right,
So whatever money we have has to, even though the fiscal year ends at the end of the month, we still have to survive this, so it's not
Right.
really.
okay, just to make sure.
Yeah, no,
It's
no,
over, right.
right.
Mhm. Right.
Anybody have any other questions for Jack regarding the treasurer's report?
I guess I have one. Sometimes if you have your savings and your checking and you have 2 or 3 or 4 different banking activities all in the same bank, you get higher interest rates. And I was just wondering, we have Key Bank we use, and we use Orange County Trust. I'm just wondering if we were to combine them. We have the loan with Orange County Trust.
Right. And we checked with Key, and the Orange County Trust rate was actually higher, several months back. And the Orange County Trust gave us the better rate because we had a loan with them and everything.
Right.
But we had the checking and everything set up with Key, so we thought it would be easier to leave the Key in place for checking and then the Orange County.
Right, but I'm wondering, what would Orange County Trust do if we also, would they raise our rate if we gave them our checking as well?
We looked into that at one point, and it wouldn't have made a difference.
And don't we, the key checking is where our payroll comes from.
Right.
So our whole payroll system is already set up to come out of the key.
Right.
checking.
Yep.
And just the aggregation factor wasn't worth it. We looked into it when we renegotiated the loan.
Right, and even the Orange County one, when we first opened that, I guess 2 years ago, so
Yeah,
the
it
rate,
wasn't it wasn't that great anyway.
But
It was
it's-
better,
it's-
but it wasn't.
right, better than what it is now. Now we're earning like $100-something every month on 300,000 balance or whatever,
Yeah.
well, what it had been until we lowered it this month, but
Right.
the rate's pretty abysmal.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Jack? May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Nancy, a second? Norma, all in favor? Thank you. And opposed? Okay, now, there's on our agenda, you'll see under new business, the TAN request. It's an action item, and since we need Jack's input, and I pretty much just wanted him here so that if you had questions about it, he could answer it, instead of having him hang out until the end of the meeting. We're going to deal with that right now. Does anyone have an objection with moving that? Okay, so we're going to talk about that, and then we'll get back to the director's report and everything else afterward. Okay, so, the TAN. Last year, we asked for $75,000, and I think we agreed that $100,000 was going to be better just as a cushion, because we came really close to the edge when we got our first check, and the interest we would pay on it comes to about $25. The difference, the interest we would pay on the difference is another $25, just for that peace of mind for the last 4 months or so. So, does anyone have any questions about the TAN, or?
Just as a point of information, the name TAN means tax anticipation.
Tax anticipation note,
For
yeah.
anyone that might not be familiar.
Right.
And I think it's very prudent to get the 100,000.
Okay.
And the rate is gonna be what this year, did you say?
It's still really, what did we pay,
A fraction of a,
$220?
220 last year to
We
borrow the
paid, we borrowed
75.
$75,000 and paid $220 interest. So this year we would probably pay about $250 on $100,000, roughly, maybe it's $275, but just for the
Right.
cushion of it. And it's because we don't get our next tax our tax disbursement check until November 1st, and we have to run the library and pay everybody between now and then.
It's a good
So
thing.
we should cash in advance on the tax money we're going to get anyway, so that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, and it comes out of the tax check when we
Right,
get it back
and
later
that's all they
anyway,
do, is
so it's-
before they give us our first tax check, they take that money out that they lent us and an extra $250 interest, and then we just go back to doing business as usual.
Right.
So, does anyone have any questions for Jack? Any questions about the TAN itself? Any objections to the TAN? Okay. So may I have a motion to, how should we word this? That we're going to apply for a 100,000, what?
I gave you the paper on the
Oh, you did, thank you. Resolved that the library request a tax anticipation note in the amount of $100,000 from the Goshen Central School District to cover projected expenses through the month of September. May I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Keith, a second?
I have a second. I have just a question on the motion though.
Yes.
It says through the month of September. When does the check actually arrive at the,
Sometime in October. I think it's, is it October 1st or November?
The check.
The 1st, I believe, yeah, the 1st October.
October 1st?
Yeah, because I think we're a couple months, it would be July, August, September into, yeah, we'd be 3 months into the new year. So it's October 1st,
That's when we get the TAN?
right. No, that's when we get the first installment, we would get the TAN in August.
Oh, first.
But they did ask last year, though, the sooner we give them the notice for the TAN, the better. But if we get the TAN a month earlier, then our interest might be a little higher than, it might be closer to 300. But they did say the sooner we get them, the better. Not that we were late last year, but they just said if we can get it to them, you know, and then we'll get the money sooner.
Right.
We won't need it sooner, but we'll,
Got
just
it.
to make them happy, but, yeah.
No, I get-
I guess what I was just wondering, if for some reason, whatever, who knows what it might be, the check were to be delayed a week, then we
So,
would be into October, we might need to pay some bills, and this says we,
why don't we just scratch out through the month of September?
yeah, I think there's no
And we'll
reason.
just leave it to cover projected expenses?
Right, right.
And just leave it at that, or
Right,
should
so
we
we
add
have a
a?
little more
Right.
flexibility.
Okay, so I'll leave it again. Resolve that the library request a tax anticipation note in the amount of $100,000 from the Goshen Central School District to cover projected expenses.
Excuse me.
Does that sound good? Okay, Keith and Jim, I'll put you down as a second. Jim? Second, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, and now on to the committee reports, which we don't actually have.
Last question. Carol,
Yes,
if there are any
Oh,
questions,
yeah.
it'd be a good time.
okay.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Zach.
I guess there aren't really any committee activities, it's kind of just in limbo with committee. It's good.
I guess I had one question for the Physical Services Committee.
Yes,
You know, we have recommended for several years that we paint the exterior of the library because the paint is really getting bad. And the longer you wait, the more expensive it is. And we got tied up with the flooding and everything else, has just jumped ahead of the queue.
And the business about the land abatement,
mhm,
that sort of threw us too.
mhm.
School has those reports, OC's from the state. So it won't be as simple as just the regular paint job. We may have
The
to.
letter is asbestos and
Oh,
caulking.
Anything that could go wrong.
Of course.
That was the first obstacle, and then right on the
Yeah.
heels of that.
Right, then we had the flood.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we should try to go back and work our way through those obstacles in some sort of a fashion. And obviously, we're not going to do anything right away, but as you say, there are things we have to deal with before we can actually go out for bid.
Mm.
So,
That
I
sounds
think-
like a good idea. Because you're right, we got derailed about a year ago.
yeah.
We got derailed about it.
We have
so-
a few building concerns that really need to be
Yeah.
dealt with.
Like their leaking roof.
Yes.
Wasn't there a list that the
Yeah.
physical
Yeah, we had a-
resources
we had a
came up
report
with a while ago?
Right.
So,
So when we,
should we go back to that list and
Yeah.
revisit
probably
it?
it's a good place to start, when we put together the committees for this fiscal year.
If we, I'm just sort of thinking out loud, let's assume that we're gonna do a roof, and we're gonna do a paint job, and it's gonna cost $50,000. All right, can we, when we do our vote a year from now, have a separate capital budget?
I don't know if we can, because we're not our own taxing authority, so I don't know how it works. But we can look into
Yeah,
it, because
'cause I
that's a
think
good idea. 'Cause
maybe
we
that
won't-
might
we might
be-
have to have a bake sale, or a book sale or something. Right, yeah. We'll have one of those dunking tanks, we'll have
Right.
people throw things and knock them out into the water.
Because our budgets now are so
They're tight,
finely tuned, we
yeah.
really, if we get something big like that, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we are in trouble. Yeah, if the insurance hadn't covered the flood, we'd be in big trouble. So, yeah.
Should we also be thinking, along the same lines, if it is gonna cost $50,000, should we, now that we have a business plan, we've gone through that, long-term, where do we see
That's the next
ourselves?
thing that we have to work on,
Yeah.
now that we're gonna make this official later today, but that's the next step. The reason we started with this was because then we have this to stand on to make our long-term plan, which will only be about a page, and won't be nearly as time consuming.
Oh, good.
All right, so let's go to the director's report, and, yes, we do absolutely, there's a lot of,
Before you do the director's report, was there
Oh, I'm
any
sorry, yes.
questions on the vote from my report last month?
right, Carol was going to give us a report
Oh,
last
that's right.
month, and we're
Sorry, I
stuck in
wasn't
traffic.
able to be
So if there were any questions about the vote for, Carol wrote up that lovely report.
Yes, you gave it to us, it was very,
Yes, it was
very
in
nice.
last
Yes, I did, but I
packet.
wasn't
Very
able,
nice.
to be here to back it up, so I just thought if there was any questions or anything that didn't seem clear, I'd be very happy to help you with any of that.
Just the whole machine thing, and we're still at the
Right.
mercy of whomever.
Yes. And, between us being a school, entity, as far as our vote goes, that's a good thing for us because they are one of the few, our school system is one of the few that retained old machines, and we still have usage of them. But come December 31st, that's supposed to disappear. Now, there are certain people that are out there lobbying for us to be able to use them until 2015, and then I understand the Assembly is also working on having us use them forever, with no limit, and naturally, we'd like that to happen, because if it does not, it's going to be a financial hardship, terrible burden for us, in view of the fact that we have so few voters, come in, and yet the cost of the machine, manning them, and the printed material that goes along with it would be just as big as if it was a government election, a presidential election. It would be a tremendous hardship.
Plus, we'd have to move it from this building
Yes. in
to
addition to
probably
moving
Main Street or something
Yes.
like that.
Probably.
because of the space that's required
Right.
around the machine for privacy. So it's definitely going to be hard, so we're rooting and.
Who do we
very
have
much
lobbying?
for- Pardon?
Who do we have lobbying? You said we have various people?
Right now, there's two bills, but there, two fronts, but there isn't anything for us to do. I think that the Library Association is probably working on that, at the state level.
Through our CLS? Or?
Question.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have
I
the
guess
town,
that-
the village,
I would
and
think so.
other entities that are affected as
So I just
well.
wonder what the positions are of our legislators. Are they in favor of these bills, or is anybody opposed? If so,
Vote them out.
is that the one we should be
Should we be writing them
lobbying or
letters?
writing letters?
Yeah.
Going
I
to
don't know.
visit them?
Do you know the names of the
Well,
bills that we're dealing with?
there was a time for writing the letters, and now it's moved on to the next step, so it's not necessary to do it at this point. But I do get emails, and if there's any actions that we need to take on our level, I'll be sure to let you know. But yes, we did cast votes last fall. So in telling them that we needed this done, and we needed this for us.
This
as
is
well
the
as
state law?
Yeah.
Any other questions for Carol? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
By the way,
Yes, that's okay.
today is Matt's birthday.
13th, close enough, yes.
13.
I thought it was
Wednesday.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, really?
Well, I just wanted, on behalf of the board, to wish you a
Happy
happy
birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Vote of 4-3, happy birthday.
Last year I used it to my advantage to keep Frank at bay.
That's right, that's right, last year's meeting was nice.
Birthday cards. Played it.
Better use whatever you got. All right. Thank you. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, the newsletter. I just got a text from Michelle. The newsletter just was sent from the printer to ADS, so it's going out this week. Nice piece from the board here, from Norm, thank you. Most of it's the dream big stuff you see around here this summer, both adult and children's programming in YA. I did something here, a message about ebooks. Someone have to do it. Mentioned Eleanor Coons, recently published assistant director here. Mentioned the museum passes, a few of which the Friends graciously, just to keep it in the public's mind, that we have museum passes, not just books. I don't know. I don't know if we do actually. Maybe too expensive. We have the Mid-Hudson Children's Museum, Guggenheim, Intrepid. Those are the ones that Friends provide. There's about 4 others. I think there's 7 altogether. Some of them don't give you passes. They make you buy tickets, so it doesn't really work out well. But also, I always forget to mention how much these guys do down here, especially with their own brochures outside of just the stuff that Michelle does with me or the rest of the staff. They do a lot of their own, and it's black on different color paper. It's a little cheaper that way, but it looks nice. It's not this 3-color stuff. So I just wanted to mention that because I was doing some work tonight around here for some dates for our calendar and realized how much stuff she shows me, and I just say, oh yeah, that's nice, and then I'm on, and I really know it's a lot of work. This is very helpful. We lost a couple employees this month. One went full-time at Warwick, and the other, I think, is becoming a nurse or something. And both very good employees, and they're on the sub list, so at least we get that from an emergency. Not Eleanor, no.
No.
Yeah, no. As far as I know.
No, you can say in her new vacation.
Oh, poor
So
Eleanor.
she's moving.
Well, who knows? She's got a second book in the works now.
Yeah,
That's
it's
actually
gone
been
to the publisher
accepted.
already.
So she's got one that's published, and then she's got
One that's
the
on its
pre-
way.
Is it
A
the
sequel.
Sequel.
It's not exactly the same storyline, it's the same character. We had a whole discussion. It was very
Yeah,
interesting.
So the second one's accepted?
Yes.
Yes, it's on-
And the
it's
third
at
one
the
that's
publishers.
written now.
And the third one written, and I
So-
don't know if the third one or the one she's working on now is a prequel.
Yeah, that's right. One of them.
One of them is.
She got mentioned in the New York Times
Yes,
book review.
right.
Did she?
Oh, I
Good
didn't
for
read the review.
her.
One of the books
That's
went out.
The
huge.
book is
For
good.
her.
It's very good.
Except it didn't say Goshen
I know.
Library. I was like,
To keep stalkers away.
It's,
so I don't
it's
know
in
why they
her
didn't-
bio on the book, and it's in her bio
I
on
know, but the
Amazon,
New
so
York Times
that's
book
okay.
review.
It just said Orange County Library.
I know. I was like, well, no.
Probably all heard about the problems with the upgrades with the Symphony, the online.
Multifactorial?
Isn't that a nice word? I don't know what that is. But the problem's really, I guess, I can't even follow it. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that people are using various versions of various browsers, and each one has a slightly different
Sure.
issue with
Sure.
the upgrades, and so
For testing.
the fixes are never one thing, just hit this key or do that. Apparently, there's a couple of fixes that seem to work for most of the people, but there's some. So I don't know, how many complaints would you say we've had so far, Dave, in the last 2-3 weeks?
I've
5?
probably been
10?
approached about it maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as far as they're reporting to me, who
Right.
knows, outside of that.
So I tried it from home, and I have Chrome, and it was no problem. It just seemed to be fine, but hopefully. But this happened last time around with Horizon. They did an upgrade, and we ended up going back to the prior upgrade just to get it more stable. So who knows? But I know they're working on it. I've seen the emails flying around. Signage. Yes, I walked around and cleaned up a lot of them. We had kind of a variegated signage system. There's some people were doing kind of 8x11 clip art. Some people were doing. Anyway, it was just a hodgepodge. So I went around and I took it all down, and I'm purchasing some, plastic just regular uniform that will have the genres, will have, I mean, it's simple, but it should look a little more elegant, and it'll be movable. Because the last time around, I don't know when this happened, but they used book tape, which is pretty heavy stuff, so I was taking, it was actually pulling the building off, you know what I mean? It was pulling splinters and
Pulling
you
the
know,
building
yeah,
off?
pulling the actual surface of the, what do you call it?
You don't need another maintenance
Give the
job.
holes.
No, no.
Well, I bought this earthquake.
Put it on the roof.
Not glue, but
The holes on the roof with
earthquake putty and magnets. It should be
There we
a
go.
movable
Gray
collection.
shaded gray, no, no, no.
So, what else? Oh, also, I have Danny helping me out to put up some more corkboard in places where there used to be. We moved, you remember by the office, there were those aerial views of Goshen. We moved them over to near the local history area, because it seems to me that
makes more
people would be interested in local history are going to want to buy them, and see them there. And in place of that, we're going to just put up some more corkboard, because we're always kind of fighting over real estate just to put stuff up. So this will give us about, I don't know, 15 or 20 more square feet of space to put signs up. The Friends. Oh, the farmer's market book sale seemed to go over well. I had people asking me about it, you know, out and about. So I guess people are noticing that. I was at a Rotary meeting, and are you guys coming back with it? I said, yeah, we'll be there, 4th Friday. Laura was there. Not sure. David wasn't there. Michelle and I went over and helped out a little bit. I don't know if she made as much as she usually makes, but this is the first time, so.
I think she made about $75. It was
It's usually 200, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I keep having a lot of good books coming in, so there's certainly no dearth of stuff to sell. Oh yes, I added there, that's another thing, the Friends upcoming, they have a number of upcoming events, our own newsletter. Obviously some of them are not so sure of the dates, so I just put the good old to be announced, keep an eye on the website. And Jim Tarvin, I mentioned, his fantastic, really. I was quite impressed with that
Thank you.
documentary.
Thank you.
Last couple of dairy farms in Orange County. It's, very professional and very, very watchable. It's, I think the combination of the characters that were in it, the principals, the people being interviewed, and Jim's keeping the narrative kind of flowing. It was really, and the footage was interesting. I mean, it was all together. I was quite impressed.
I think the music is unbelievable.
Oh, music's great. Yeah. Whole
Really
thing is
milking it, huh?
nice.
Will you have another screening, Jim, or?
Well, we're still, as a result of that little screening that we did, like a focus group, we're doing some editing. We're trying to shorten it a little bit. And it was supposed to be ready on Sunday, but then the student that's working with me had a problem with his computer, so this week sometime I think we'll be able to look, and this may be it that he has this time. This may be the final thing. Hoping. It's been 2 years.
It's amazing, really. 2 years, I guess so.
How long does it run?
The night that we showed it here, I think it was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to cut it to about an hour and 15. They wanted us to cut it to an hour, but it was just so hard to cut. But sometimes the amount of the way something feels is more important than the actual number of minutes.
Sure.
And we cut out stuff that we felt like it might have been a 3-minute clip, but it probably felt like 8. It just wasn't that interesting. But there was in fact, we added a clip. Would you believe?
Oh, really?
We had a clip. There was a clip where Bill Johnson, who's in his late 80s, talks about when he was a kid, he'd walk to the station in Chester, get on the train over to Goshen, go to the movies, buy an ice cream, and then he'd take the train back to Chester and walk home. Total expense 25 cents.
Yeah, the stories are great. Really, some of these guys are...
Imagine taking a train from Chester to Goshen. That was like the mass transit of its day.
Right.
So you plan to show that in the fall, right? It's going to be
We're going to have a showing at some point, hopefully, I guess in the fall.
I think that's it. I mean, it was a pretty quiet month. I did mention that statistics seem to be up, but there's not a lot to. I guess once we establish the committees, we have to talk about this business about the valve gate versus balloon with FEMA thing. That's still kind of out there. Last I spoke to them, they wanted me to apply to for a government loan, a low-interest government loan.
That's
The idea is that it get rejected, and then you come back again, and then we'll see what we can do. And, well, that,
Right.
the whole thing seems strange, because we're not a business. I don't even know how we could begin that, that's for profit. I don't know why there's this confusion, and that's when he came back, and I found out that he was an expert in municipal sewage systems, and said that we should just be using a real cheaper thing for the kind of situation.
Did we buy a plug?
We have not.
How much we talking
Why don't we
about?
just buy a plug and not
It's
burn that?
variance,
It's 35
crazy.
bucks, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's one
I would
little
buy-
thing, it's really cheap, and then the big deal is like $18,000.
18,000?
Yeah, there's one of the
Pump
things, the pump station thing, oh yeah, and it was involved. and-
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously we haven't made a decision, but I think we can rule that one out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a wide variety of prices. That's why no decision's been made. Because every time we go to talk to somebody else about it, oh, you know what, you could try, and then, okay, option 12, and this one is
Right.
$600, but.
What was the FEMA's guy's suggestion?
It was for I forget the technical term, but it basically is a balloon that you push, plug that you push into the main, wherever the main sewer line entering the building, and then you pump it up with a bicycle pump.
But somebody has to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
So if
that,
at 3 in the morning,
well, right, that
the
was
sky's open, that's ridiculous.
one of the valves we looked at. That was the idea too, that we have to have somebody that could go down into the
That
little
big
manhole.
expensive one, the
that's
big
crazy.
expensive one, we had to have somebody who was licensed to go into
Right.
that type of hole to deal with that. Yeah, it got really
Well, that was the
ridiculous.
7,000 one. Then the
Oh, yeah.
18,000 one is the
Alright,
pump
let's just get
station.
rid of the toilet.
Yeah,
okay?
I know. Just hold it till you go home. Yes, Carol.
The beauty of that plug is that you don't have to wait until you have a problem to do it. If you have hurricane warnings in
Right.
the area, you
We
could
can
plug
just
in
plug in
before
the-
it's
We
needed
close the
Yeah.
library that
That's
night,
true.
plug the thing up and go for the day, that
and you
makes
walk
sense.
away.
Get the
So-
pump.
So the 3 o'clock in the
And it doesn't need
morning, you know,
electricity.
Yeah.
it's not
That's
necessary
another
to
thing, it
wait
doesn't need
that
electricity,
long
which
in
is
order
nice.
So
to
does it go into the
close the
toilet?
barn door.
You just push it down to the bottom of the toilet and
Right.
pump it up.
As far as you go, it has some
Oh,
specs, but
serious?
yeah.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is as I was
Yeah, it's
researching
$30.
this, I came
Oh,
across
okay.
Yeah, bicycle pump, we can do that.
I came
And then
across a whole bunch
deflating
of-
it is equally,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
deflating it would be, if
Hopefully it
it's
doesn't
stuck,
pop.
then we need,
So we
Right.
spend another $30 and buy another
Well,
one.
there's a bunch of what do you call those? Patents coming down the line for these things being built into the actual structure of the.
Oh, so.
So it's funny because this guy's.
It's a toilet.
We're kind of ahead of the curve here. This guy happens to know his stuff and said this is what plumbers use when under high pressure circumstances to stop water here and there. And as I'm researching, sure enough, someone's got the bright idea to just have that thing already in place. So that you would just pump it from the side. It's ready, and you don't have to stick it in and do any of that stuff. Get your hands dirty. It's in there and ready to go. So it might be really a viable option. It just seemed funny after all this back and forth,
Right.
and
Yeah,
I
right.
find out that he's
So
like this.
dramatic and
Yeah.
seem,
Now the sink drain, where does that go?
Well, that's another thing. I'm not sure. We have to have someone really look.
right.
You mean there's two drains.
Drains.
There's the sop sink, the sink drain 3, and the floor drain. So the question is, if there's any connection there, you may have to do
Right,
more than
so
one.
where do they all meet up? And that's where we have to put the balloon.
Well, the floor drain wouldn't be connected to the sewer system.
I would hope not.
No.
There's a slop sink drain, and then the regular sink. So those would go out that way too.
Hmm.
Any
So
ideas,
we've got
Carol? Carol knows more about
We buy
buildings.
3
than-
balloons,
So anyway, well, we'll get the committee together. Maybe we can
puzzle it out.
talk and puzzle it out. That's about it, I think, unless there are questions.
Any questions for Matt? No? Now, unfinished business? Here's our business plan. If anybody has any questions about it or any problems with it.
it's been so long, I forgot what it looked like.
Well, it's actually, when you total up all the amount of time that we worked on it, it comes to 1 business day. I think that's pretty good for 1 business day's work.
And what we have here are all the sections we separately
Yes,
approved,
everything
so-
that we approved,
Right.
and it's all in one,
Yeah.
and I had Carol and Matt both read over it and check it for, throw things.
Great,
Check it for typos and spelling errors.
right. Because there, once in a while, you're gonna have somebody come to a meeting and say, you don't even have a business plan.
Right, and now we go, oh,
Oh,
yeah?
yeah?
So,
Now,
Anyway, so
Do we
we-
need to date it?
I think if we all just say, yep, let's go with this, then we can just make it, put a copy up on the internet with today's date as the approval date for it. And that can be that. Okay?
I would move to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Everybody, have anything else to add or subtract from the business plan?
That's a living document, so.
Right. we
That's
did.
right.
Your words.
Right, so we can date it and then when things change and we go entirely to ebooks, we can just change it all. I don't, yeah, let's make it official. Jim made a motion to accept the business plan as is.
Second.
Norman seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the business plan is approved as of June 11th, 2012. Thank you very much. Is there any other unfinished business we need to do with?
Or the color printing. The color printing.
Is that a unfinished
You struck it?
business?
That's the new business.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of
Yes,
myself.
yeah,
Too much coffee.
That's fine. All right, so on to the new business. The election committee.
Oh, okay, we're taking that first. We did the tan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we did the 10 with Jack before, that's why I skipped over it.
Well, Nancy and I had to have a series of meetings, and unfortunately, there were some dinner expenses that we're gonna send you the bills.
The fence will cover that, right?
But we have a slate of officers. Our peerless, unequaled president for the position of president next year, Ellen Mary O'Brien.
Thank you.
And for vice president, our esteemed colleague, Keith Roddy.
No way.
And for secretary, the rising star, Norma Nunez Langlos. And for auditor of bills, the ever-precise Bernie Merrill.
Is that how the committee votes?
That's the slate.
Thank you. Anybody want anything else?
Can I just make a comment, please?
Sure.
Regarding the email that you sent out on Tuesday, May 22nd.
Okay.
And I must say that I was offended by it.
Oh my apologies.
I was offended with the line that you would like a vice president who can communicate freely and who will disagree with you right to your face.
Yes.
I think that I personally, and I'm speaking for myself, I don't know what the other members, I've not spoken to them about it. And I was not seeking the office of vice president, just so that we can be clear on that.
Okay.
But to say that your choice of vice president would be the only person that you would feel is the only one that can disagree with you, I took offense to that.
That wasn't my intention. My letter was referring to the vice president that I had, who wouldn't even communicate with me. That was, my preference last year was for Keith, and I didn't get that. I got a vice president I couldn't talk to, and I wanted someone I knew would argue with me if I needed it, and that's why I wrote it that way. It wasn't directed at anyone else. I'm sorry you were offended. It was certainly not my intention to offend anyone.
And just so, I agree with the slate, and I go with the slate.
Thank you.
But I found that line completely, just, it offended me, and I don't know how anybody else feels about it.
Well, again, Norma, I apologize that you were offended. It was not my intention to offend you. I was referring to the vice president I got stuck with.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jim, you're gonna pass the vote for the slate as written?
Well, we made the,
That's how it works. If nobody challenges the slate, then
so
you pass
in
one
other words, there are
vote.
no additional nominations.
Right, then you just
Okay.
have one vote for the committee. and
All right,
that's that.
so I guess we or I will cast the one vote for the slate
Thank you,
as
Jim.
submitted.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Congrats.
Okay, now committee assignments. The Physical Resources Committee, Jim? Oh, I don't have my notes with me.
You're gonna do it.
Oh, do you have your bind? Of the
Grant, wanna read them?
officers?
Yeah, would you
The
mind?
committees?
Thank you.
Yeah, you need it.
I think Bernie
He-
may have one.
Do you have it handy?
Yeah.
Because,
I told you he was precise.
this is why he's the auditor of the bills.
Look at the size of his one.
I know, holy cow.
Yeah, although which page it is, that's a good question.
It's so organized, you can't find it.
That's right.
It's not purple or gray.
Hmm?
It's not purple or gray.
Not
It's
purple
white.
gray?
It's not purple or gray.
Okay, I thought the ones that were marked revised 2011 were the good ones.
No, the actual list of
No.
committee members from last year, do you
Like
have it?
the,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't have that, I'm sorry. I thought you were looking
Thank
for the
you.
actual,
No, I
the
just wanted
positions and what they were
to,
doing.
right, because
Okay.
I intended to bring it with me, but I know exactly where it is on my desk, so.
There's a guy at the college who unfortunately died at the age of 59, a tremendous administrator. And his office, when you opened the door to his office, everything was just
she said it's
piled,
not purple.
piled.
He knew where everything was, though.
Yeah, that's okay.
And if you asked him for something, he would just say,
I'm
"I've
trying
got
the
it."
same order.
And he'd walk over to the correct pile
Yeah.
and go to the correct depth. Look at
I
that.
should have.
My
This is
mom.
all-
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
People, they separate people
That's
from
right.
organizations into
We
filers
should have
and
a-
filers,
a
and
working-
that's just how it works.
This
Filers
is the
and
old one.
filers, yeah.
He was one of these guys that just did so many things for the college, and then when he had a heart attack and died, and they had to create 2 positions to cover the work that he was doing.
Wow.
And you sort of wonder if they hadn't made him do so much, whether he would have had the heart attack, you know?
Right, yeah. Thank you, Nick. Okay, now, Physical Resources Committee last year was Keith Roddy, Jim Tarvin, and Frank Walter. Would you like to stay on? the
I would,
physical- You're fine with it?
Yeah.
Okay, and
That's
Jim?
fine, yeah.
Now,
It'd be nice to have a third person.
we need a
yeah.
third person on Physical Resources.
I'd like to.
You'd like to
I'd
do
like
that?
to, yeah.
Okay, so Physical Resources Committee, is it okay if I run
Yeah,
this?
sure.
Is going to be Jim, Keith, and Bernie. All right,
And
Joe.
chair.
Pick a chair. Jim? Jim can be the chair.
I'll do it.
He was the chairperson
Would you like
last
to
year.
be chair?
Do you want to be the chairperson for the committee, or?
Should we take a vote? Either way, I'm open to do it.
Well, the three of you can decide and get back to me.
I'm not running. Chair.
No?
Okay.
Well, accessible counts.
You guys
Yeah,
do
you're
say
right.
Okay, Community Resources. Last year it was Norma, myself, and Frank. I continue to work with you on that if you want to continue to do
Yes.
that. Okay, thank you. And who else would like to be on Community Resources?
I
Nancy. Okay, wonderful. And you were the chairperson for Community Resources? Would you like
I
to continue?
was?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know either. Well, congratulations. Now you can
But
go
you were
with
writing
this
those
time.
press releases for that job, for that position.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Now, Human Resources was myself, Tiffany, and Jim. So who wants to be on Human Resources? I think I have to go. Yeah, as president I
Yeah, you
have to. Yeah. So who wants to join me on the Human Resources Committee?
I'll join you.
Okay, Ryan, and my
Do I?
handy dandy vice president, you want to be on?
What
my-
do you do on this board?
I think this is pretty much when we go over the salary scale and when we go over this, yeah, if, it hasn't happened yet since I've been here.
Oh, I would hope
Personnel
there'd be a
issues.
problem, too. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it'll be you, me, and Ryan. And Ryan and wants to be the chairperson. All right, I'll be the chairperson. I didn't get any eye contact. This is gonna be
I
fun.
felt the eyes.
Yeah, nobody even looked
Checking
at
my
me. It's
shoes here.
hilarious. It's like talking to my kids. And like, okay. And the Sunshine Committee was Bernie Maroney last year. Would you like to continue as Sunshine, or do you have enough to do?
I've got
You
enough
have plenty to do,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So the Sunshine Committee is up. This is the committee where we all chip in $20 and somebody gets sick, we send them flowers, someone gets married, we buy them a gift card, we send birthday cards. You want to take care of that, Jim?
Other than that, but let's, how about,
Oh.
What's that?
Nothing.
will you be chair of physical resources?
Oh,
Okay.
And I'll be
Okay.
chair of sunshine.
So we'll make-
Resigning left and right here,
Bernie
Jim.
is the chair of the
Wait a minute, am I
Physical
being secretary?
Resources, and Jim is the Sunshine Committee. Okay, at the next meeting, you want to turn everything over to Jim?
Sure, or we can do it tonight too.
Yeah, well, I just figured this way everybody gets a heads up, everyone bring $20 to the next meeting so we can
Okay.
finance the Sunshine Committee for a year. Yes, ma'am?
As Sunshine turns that over, they're supposed to announce at the meeting how much and how many dollars it actually is.
Okay, so you can take care of that next meeting?
But that money is not library money, that's.
No, it's not,
totally
it's money the
separate.
board just chips in every year,
Yeah.
and when the funds get low, we throw some more in.
And we also, I don't know if you want to have a second person on that committee, because there was more than one person the year prior, I think, on the Sunshine Committee, so,
Is that right?
yeah.
Because when I did it, I got it from Tiffany the first year I came on board, and I was by
There's still only
myself.
one?
Yeah, she was one, I was one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
my
mean,
mistake.
I think I gave it to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I knew,
I thought there was more than
it's
one.
usually just one. It's not
Oh,
that big a
okay.
job, I think that's why.
Yeah, well, it's important that if you know of something where someone's, parent died or something.
You email the Sunshine.
To have the
let me know.
input, yeah.
Because I can't do anything if I don't know that.
Right, exactly.
We missed,
And
we
we'll
missed
get
Frank's
this- we'll
hospital,
get this
one of Frank's
retyped
hospital
in
stays.
for the
Yeah,
next
so-
meeting.
yeah.
Carol
Carol.
is taking notes, it'll be in our
Thank
next
you.
board packet with the committee
Yes.
assignments.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like me to go over it again, what everybody is? You got it? All right, great. Okay, I think that's everything for the committee assignments. Any questions? Okay, color printing, what is that about?
Well, I have to bring it up before.
There's no cost.
No, not really. I mean, basically, break-even kind of thing, we think. I mean,
Go.
oh, sure. Well, David Maloney had a great idea. We have a number of printers in the building, and for whatever reason, they kind of become invisible to you. We have one in the business office that's big, high-volume type thing, an Oki that does color, but it never got used for color because the office used it basically. And we had a small black and white out on the circulation desk for public printing. So David, well, one of the problems was you could never get into the big one in the back because when you lift the top up to change the ink, it would hit the shelf above it. So you had to take it down and put it on the floor. And one time it blew up and there was blue stuff all over everybody. And so I don't know why it took so long for someone to figure this out, but we should just swap these two things. And now we have, because there's more room out there, and now we haven't set it up yet because we have to run it by you guys. We can allow it to print color for people if they'd like, for more than a black and white.
So you charge.
So we can charge more.
So like we charge 10 cents for black and white, it'd be like 30. I mean, I was just polling local libraries and what they charge. We could probably do a more scientific analysis of exactly how much to get, but the going rate is about 30 cents a copy for color. But we'll look into it a little more deeply just to make sure we have a
Yeah.
Now, is this copies or is it printing from the computers out front?
printing from the computers.
Okay.
Yeah, public.
So it's not the copy machine
Right,
that
right,
everybody
right.
pays their
No.
money into. This is behind the desk and the librarian
Right.
collects the printed and then they pay for it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we do have that capability here too to use that, but we never have because it would just be too much because it's down here and it's mostly used for staff. We have that big Konica color printer that's just in-house really. This will be just a regular printer hooked to the public computers for printing off of computer stuff.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
So it's a choice by the patron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
Isn't
governed
it the
by
same
software.
amount of money because it's the cost of the ink cartridges,
Right.
but there's still, whether you use some of the cyan or
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
black, it doesn't really matter.
well, it depends on how the printer's set up too. If it's
So-
each individual cartridge is a different color, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, and they're all,
Yeah, yeah.
they
Are
probably
they all
all,
the same?
they could be.
No, I think the blacks are cheaper.
Yeah, the blacks
Yeah.
are.
So,
And,
yeah, we-
and also depends on if you've got how much not saturation, but how much coverage you've got on the
Right.
page. If you want to do something
That's
that's
right.
completely yellow, that's going to burn yellow.
How's it gonna cost extra?
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, my only suggestion would be to
You're gonna.
check what it costs at Kinko's for color
Mhm.
printing.
I called right up
And
here.
double or
uh,
triple it, because
Yeah,
you don't want
Kinko's.
somebody walking in
Linda's
here
or
filling out
Linda's, what
500
does Linda
copies.
charge?
Yeah, check hers.
But they
Well,
they check first before they print. They can print. They're not going to just go print something out and then they're going to be told, oh, that's
No.
color. That's 30 cents.
No.
Oh, I
We
didn't want
have a
color.
sign on each computer
Not
already.
just a sign, but it's computerized. In other words, you have to. It's defaults to black and white. So if you want to color, you
Okay.
have to go through steps to get
Oh.
it. It makes it, you know, so
No
you know that they're getting what they're.
Sounds good.
But is there a limit on the number of copies, black or color, that a person can make? They can't walk in and say, I need 50 copies, can they, or something?
Yeah, if they're willing to pay for it. There's no limit.
Because that's, I'm just trying to think. At Linda's, what does Linda charge?
Oh, I don't know.
I think she charges,
Oh, you could look up
Probably.
these printers to see what the cost is per page
Right.
to get an idea.
Yeah, we can get a more scientific answer to those questions. I mean, as I said, I was just going by library
The
tradition,
consensus
but
of
we can
library
look into it and try to get a more, you know.
Yeah, because if it's a higher end printer with expensive ink, 30 cents copy might not cover
Yeah.
our expenses. We might be losing money printing color copies.
I bet it
We'll
will.
check though.
I
Yeah.
bet it
will,
will.
too. Color
30
ink is
cents is a
pretty
lot
steep.
per page.
Dave, you got your work cut out for you tomorrow.
Get busy, Dave. So I'm gonna table that till next time. we discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, we're
We
not
want
going
to
to
just start with, did you move?
It's
printers
moved.
already?
I just wanted it moved because that took care of a couple other headaches. The
Sure.
color thing to me was, I mean, I know people ask for it, they don't clamor for it. It comes up occasionally.
Right.
So it would be nice to have as an option, and it's always nice to be able to provide, you know.
Sure.
So,
But you
So
sure
what
the
is-
ink cartridges are the same amount
Exactly
of,
as
are
it is.
more for the color cartridges?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll
we'll double check.
So just, can we swap the printer?
You know more about technology than me, so if you're
Okay.
asking, I'm getting nervous, but.
Don't get nervous.
but why don't we just say, go ahead, just make sure when you price it, you cover your costs, that's all.
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
The
And
concept
a
is
little
fine.
something, and a little something.
That's what you're asking?
Yes.
You're asking to move something from one
I'm not
place
sure
to
what I'm
another?
asking.
Yeah, thank you, could you please? Because
I'm asking,
Yeah, do we
yeah,
have
I
to-
guess
we have
the
to approve
concern
this?
is right. I guess because it has to do with it could be an expense if we mess up our mathematics, but it won't be. We'll make sure that we cover whatever we
Price it.
He's
lay
gonna
out
have to
for
take
the,
Dollars.
right. It should be a wash, since we're a public entity and we're paid for by tax dollars. It should
Right.
really be as close to a wash, but we're not here to make money off of it.
Correct.
It's not really a,
Right.
it's
So
not,
we're here not
that's
to
not
go
the idea.
broke.
We're just, right, we're just here to,
Break even.
It's a good service that you're providing.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so, yeah, why not? We should start there, and if it turns out we're losing money, we up the price.
right.
I think that's
Yes,
the way to
yeah.
go.
We'll definitely do some more research on the cost, and, because I'm sure every printer's a little different, and ink's a little different, we'll figure it out.
Okay, so,
Bernie? Stop with that.
all right, so resolve that the fees associated with the printing of our public computers to our in-house printer be set at 10 cents for a black and white and 30 cents per copy for color copies,
Or
or
whatever costs equals a break even.
whatever
Uh,
costs the
whichever-
break-even
whichever it
point.
is.
Right.
Printing shall be done on plain paper, excessive color saturation and photo printing shall not be permitted. May I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Photo,
No photo paper.
no photo paper
Oh,
and no,
okay.
because that's, you're talking a lot of money.
All right.
Thank you, Jim, a second? Everybody's clamoring, we'll give it to Bernie.
Oh, okay, fine.
Thank you. All in favor? All opposed? No one, passes unanimously, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other new business we need to deal with?
Are you gonna talk about the swords tonight, or,
Okay, you wanted the swords.
I mean, I don't know. It's a-
Yes.
What?
I don't want to alarm anybody. Swords. Well, I came in today, I know Ann has been talking about changing she has that display case outside of the local history room. And she's been talking about updating it, changing it. It's actually, I guess, the bicentennial of the War of 1812, right? So I don't know
Right.
where she got on the Civil War tack from, but she got interested in putting some stuff out. And we happen to have a number of, well, actually we have some guns too. Not muskets too early, but guns and some swords from the Civil War. So when I came in today, I walked by the case, and there they were in our case upstairs. These beautiful. I just imagine they're worth thousands each. And this has a backstory because in the 70s this place was broken into, and a bunch of Civil War memorabilia had been stolen. There was no alarm yet. They came through the bathroom window, I think, over here, took it out, sold it, and they never found it. So, I was, I wasn't, I don't know, alarmed is a little strong, but I was nervous because I'm thinking to myself, well, you have 3 Civil War era swords behind
Glass.
the glass, which is just screws, holding it there. Now, I don't know what's typical in small local history places and what's in libraries, or if you walked over to it may be similar. But Jim had the good idea. If we do decide, or if you agree that they might be something we'd like to display, because they really should be out for people to see rather than wrapped up somewhere. And they're, beautiful. We should probably, definitely see if there's a way at least to alarm that case, so that if the thing was separated, something would go off. Because as Jim demonstrated, someone could surreptitiously sort of just have one guy
Don't
at the
give
door.
too much information.
Yeah, probably online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. It's pretty obvious to look at it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it wouldn't take a mastermind to crack it. It's,
Oh, boy.
but what we're going to do is we're alarmed. We don't have to worry.
We are alarmed,
It's the
yes.
daytime when if someone were to be that slick. I mean,
Right, shoplifted.
we did have a computer stolen from that room years ago. A kid took a computer out of there because it's kind of in a not so traversed area.
Right.
So, luckily right now, I took them back out and they're wrapped up in under lock and key. But for tomorrow or the next day, when we decide to bring them back out, should we think about getting something? I have no idea what the cost of something like that would be. Probably $100 or some kind of
They do
electronic.
sell little alarms that you can put on windows.
There must
Because
be.
I know we looked into it for our kids' windows.
Mhm.
That's just
Yeah.
because my friends had a little sister who liked to open the door and walk
Yeah.
out, and they got a thing on the door. Just the separation of it.
Yeah,
is
just
such
when
an
something's
alarm
open,
off.
it
Yeah.
goes
That would be
It's-
fine.
I'm the hardware store probably has them.
So you're all right with putting them back there if they have an alarm?
To
Okay.
alarm them, yeah.
With lasers.
Yeah, some kind of
Yeah.
so they could break a magnetic, I guess, or something.
Tom Cruise will get through, but that's about it.
Yeah.
The cabinets are locked, though.
Yeah.
They are.
Well,
It's
the
just a
Cabinets
matter
are
of-
locked,
well,
and the building itself
Just
is
a matter of the
alarmed.
hinge.
But there's
not being
just
secure.
4 screws.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
bolted. You
So
could-
it's just a matter of who's sneaky during the day.
All right. And, we are, it's kind of
So in
hard
a new
times.
building, we need to think about
Yeah,
our
definitely.
museum room
Absolutely.
I want to take a
to
look
keep
at
all of
what
our
they're doing.
artifacts
Right.
under
Lasers,
laser tag things.
guard dogs.
Well, everything we have here now is well, that's in storage is definitely safe. Its own fire safes or behind several locked doors or whatever. They must have been pretty loosey-goosey in the 70s or whatever to have letting that stuff just get. I think they took like a cannon or some really big stuff. They dragged stuff out of here that I was surprised.
So they knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So
Just a question,
yes.
just because I'm going through it, is I have to renew my homeowner's policy.
Yeah.
Does that affect our insurance, given that we have these 2 artifacts?
It should be covered all under our umbrella. I can double check it, I believe, In fact, that reminds me, I was going to take tomorrow off and I can't because the insurance guy's coming.
I'm sorry?
No, that's good. I'm glad you reminded me. Insurance, I'll double check with them how that works, but I'm pretty sure it's just an umbrella policy covering everything. And,
Not that we want to lose them, just to make sure.
so I'll look into the,
No need to discuss the cost
Exactly.
on video.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Anything else?
that's it, I think.
Okay. Anybody else have any new business they'd like to bring to the board? Going once?
Well, maybe September could be a target month to begin our long-term, long-range plan. Give it the
Sounds
summer.
good. We
and-
can give it some thought between now and then.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting?
I don't know. I'm assuming
Why
you
not?
think people go
Yeah.
on vacation.
Yeah, I personally
Yeah.
will not be here August 13th, the meeting of August 13th. It's
Okay.
a family commitment.
Okay.
And it's just, we start September and go back to school.
So we'll take the summer off from business plans and building plans and things.
Fine.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Well, well, we have right now, the only long-range plan we have is the one that ends with us building a ginormous library nobody wanted on 5 acres of land.
We're purchasing a building, existing building.
No, we already have a long-range plan that's written out that ends with.
Oh, the old-
business-
the old one.
That's the
The
only
old-
long-range plan
Oh,
we have,
yes.
is my point. So we now have our business plan, so we now have to come with our own long-range plan that deals with this and the realities that nobody wanted that big building. Do you understand what I'm saying? We do need to do something with this. This
Oh, I
library's
understand what you're
inadequate. We all know that. It's too small.
What's too small?
This building.
Oh, this building,
Right,
yes.
we can't bring it up to code, all
So,
the
yeah.
other wonderful things we all know about this building.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so
Oh, yeah.
that's what we're gonna put into our long-range plan in September. Correct? That's what you had in mind?
Mhm.
Okay.
Hmm?
All right, so we can put that
So-
on the agenda for September's meeting. Is that a problem?
I just don't know why we're not gonna talk about it.
We
Why
can
can't
talk
we-
about it, but I think we can actually do something about it in September. So we can discuss it.
Well,
Put it
we're talking a few months here of doing nothing.
Well, what happened last summer is that for all of our summer meetings,
We only
we would
meet 12
have,
times a year.
yeah, but people
Right.
go on vacation. So I know if it was in
Still.
July and August, we had like 5 people here.
Right.
And if you're gonna,
Well, if there's any
And we had the first meeting. for
decisions
the-
that need to be made, we don't make them until there's a quorum or whatever, but
Well, of the first meeting we had about the business plan, we
Hands.
actually created a work session meeting for it, which we may or may not do in
Okay.
September, depending on how much work it turns out to be. I don't imagine it's, I think we could do it on one page, correct? Does anybody foresee it being bigger than that?
No,
A
I mean,
long
the
range-
long range plan is, you know, where are we going from here? I mean,
Right.
and we have to also think about, you know, we have to look at the list that the physical resources committee created, that laundry list of things, and, you know, we have to think about, are we gonna spend
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
however much money it costs to
Mm-hmm.
it's
do
no
what we
trivial
need to
thing.
do? It is not a trivial
No.
thing.
No, it isn't.
Right.
We even have to discuss how we envision a library will be a few years, 5 years, 10 years from now,
Mhm.
to have a facility that could accommodate this vision.
Okay.
Even what the economy is going to be, whether it's going to be palatable.
Well, we got to just think in the best interests of the library and the patrons,
Right.
regardless.
And the economy is
Yeah.
kind of,
You know,
because when you if you needed to do something with your house, the economy is irrelevant to you, you have to get it done.
Oh, we got to patch the roof, yeah.
You're right, you patch the
it,
roof.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if the, you just get it done. So, I mean, there's a place where that meets reality, and that's where we have to put our long-range plan. I want a big, everything we could possibly do, and no new library at all. We have to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have something that might be helpful. Actually, now I can't recall who the publisher is, whether it's what agency, what level, but it's New York State. It's 50 pages. It's called something like Libraries 2020. It just came out. It basically tracks demographics in the Hudson Valley, tracks variety of trends with, and it makes projections about what these particular people that put together this report think about the next 8 years. So I can send you that. So that'll give you something to kind of look at
Sure.
interim, and that
There's
might
our
help.
summer reading.
There's something. Okay.
But it was just published a couple weeks ago, so it's
Great.
fresh off the press.
That'd be great.
the only problem with things like that, if it's, the people that put it together were whom?
And that's what I'm not sure. I mean, it's
Right.
Because sometimes you get the people that are like library nuts, and then they give their dream.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then library boards that tend to be library nuts, it
Or
gets so far
nuts.
separated
Yeah,
from
sure.
the community
Yeah.
that, and you not even realize it's happening. It's like you're on a conveyor belt,
Right, right.
Well,
Well, there's some
we should
hard numbers in there
focus
that are
also
good.
last
The demographics
go
and
around.
stuff,
We
so-
can
We
still
did.
do
No, and
that
I think
again.
Yeah,
if
but
need
we
be.
got.
I'd love to see it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not to come up with our plan, but when
No,
we
but-
start to implement it, we absolutely have to do it that way, and we have to get a lot of people involved. The original plan for the building that failed was the same 200 people over and over again. A lot of people didn't even know those meetings took place, and were surprised at the vote, were surprised at a lot of things, and we can't allow that to happen again.
It was a healthy discussion. I was
Right,
part of that
Right, but
process.
you were part of a lot of it, and a lot of other people had no idea it went on, and
But
those
you know
people
that-
were surprised
Yeah,
by
they
the
had-
vote.
I was part of
Yeah,
those
that's-
discussions too, and
Right.
The $20 million
Yes,
Taj Mahal.
and a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't even know that it was even being
But
discussed. That
not-
shouldn't happen.
But there were announcements of meetings, there were,
Yeah.
things were put in the newspaper and so on.
Mhm.
It's-
Most people are so busy that until it's finally like a big story,
Mhm.
then they finally,
Oh my
well,
God.
but there
Right.
was lots of notification, I thought.
I believe it was. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll advertise.
Well, right, we're gonna have,
Oh.
to- well, the thing is, we also should take a look at how was that handled and how can we do it differently or broader
Betcha.
spectrum or something else, because we
Yeah.
missed a lot of people
Right.
with that last vote, and a lot of people felt it hijacked science.
Part of that too was simply when it came out, and it came out when the economy had suddenly gone
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
south, and there's that combination.
And we also, you know, in terms of
Self-
thinking about, we had a plan, I don't know, when we decided to put a halt on it, with the architect.
Yep.
And looking to see how much it
Mhm.
will cost to build an X number, you know, to think about that again.
Yes.
And do
Paul
we,
Mays.
do we?
Paul Mays, yes.
Yeah, Paul Mays. And do we, you know, want to proceed that way, or, you know, who knows, maybe put it out as a, not a contest. There's something else, there's
Bid it,
another.
you mean, like-
No, just put it out there and see if there's a competition, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who,
This
you
is something
know,
for proposals, what's it called?
request for
proposal.
RPF,
Yeah,
or request for proposals.
that type of thing.
We could do that, you know, I mean, there are many different things, because we're very close to paying off that property.
Right.
It's, you know, and again, we have an opportunity here
Mhm.
to design a library that will, you know, if Goshen grows, that can grow with Goshen.
Mhm.
The Katrina building is still available too.
The Katrina building is still partially rented, so.
That's okay. It's closer to the point where that lease is going to be up.
But the problem wasn't the lease.
And that wasn't the problem.
The
No.
problem
that
was
was
the price.
Yeah, the problem
Right.
with the
And
price
I,
is-
there
From day
wasn't
one, that
any
was the
real discussion on that. I could tell you firsthand.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Anyway.
We digress.
Yes. Well, now we know all the things we get to discuss between now and September. Is there anything else you want to bring up for new business before I close the meeting?
Privilege of the floor?
Yes. I guess that's it for new business. Privilege of the floor. Do you have anything to say there?
I apologize for being late tonight.
It's our fault, we locked you out, sorry.
I will not be here on the August 13th
Will you be
meeting.
here next
I-
month?
Yes,
Is that
July I will be
typical?
here,
Is the door
July,
usually
August
closed
I
before
will
meetings,
not.
or-
We still have
I will not be here July.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
be
see,
here.
this
You
is
could
why
just
we're
not-
doing it.
Yeah, I
this
might
way.
have
I did.
to.
I did.
You might have
Actually, I
July
got caught
too?
upstairs talking
As long as
to
we
a
have, well, then that
former
means the rest of
colleague.
us can't
Okay.
miss
That was-
July.
but I
Right, we
blamed
need
it on the
5,
door.
we
It was
need
a good
4,
one.
we need 4. Okay.
So we have one person not coming July,
Two, maybe 2.
I might not be able
He
to.
might
do
not,
that.
he might not be,
and
and you won't be here.
I will not be here for the
Well,
August
so-
meeting.
Oh,
Okay. Anybody
cancel
else
that.
having trouble with gonna make the August meeting? Because if there's enough problem with it, then we change the date. But if it's okay, if it's only gonna be one person.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, good, good. All
We
right,
only meet 12 times a year, so.
about that. Okay, I'm gonna call going to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:37 PM? Norma, second. Bernie, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, go home.